It's Tuesday, December 29th, and you're listening to the Geek News Central podcast, sponsored by GoDaddy.com. Geek News Central is a proud member of the Tech Podcast Network. If it's tech, it's here. Have we got a great show for you? Boy, 2010 is just right around the corner. Hope everyone had a good Christmas. It's going to be a great show. Strap in. Here it comes.
All right, people, I need a go, no-go for the Geek News Central podcast. Digital archive recorders.
We're go fly.
Microphone.
We're go fly.
Video feed.
Go.
Web browser.
Go.
RSS data stream aggregator.
Go fly.
Interflux Toddism suppressor.
All right. I'm confused.
Host readiness check.
Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show.
The Geek News Central podcast is a proud member of the Tech Podcast Network. If it's tech, it's here. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are ready to go. Cue Todd in
5,
Button, who's got the button?
4,
There's no cause for alarm.
3,
Everybody hold on to something.
2,
Just press the button.
1.
Aloha and welcome to the Geek News Central podcast, coming to you as live as it can be from the beautiful state of Hawaii via the Geek News Central studio overlooking Greater Oahu. Hey everyone, welcome to the show, and I hope everyone had a great Merry Christmas, and I hope you're all recovered. I'll be honest with you. I have had the absolute most relaxing holiday that I have had in years. And you know, that's not supposed to happen. It's supposed to be crazy, right? Well, we'll talk about it in here in a few minutes. And but hey, got a great show lined up for you tonight. Got some tech news. Yeah, there's some stuff out there, some stuff actually happening. And gonna talk a little bit about CES, of course. But of course, I want to welcome all of the new listeners. I know that there are literally millions of you who have received new iPods, new iPod touches, new iPhones, whatever it may be. And if you're checking out the show for the very first time, I want to welcome you to the Geek News Central podcast. This is your twice weekly tech fix. Basically, you can come and hang out with me for about an hour and 15 minutes every Tuesday and Friday when I release the show, and talk a lot about tech. Now, if you have given the gift of an iPod or an iPhone or any other mobile media device, make sure that you let them know about this great show so that they can get subscribed. And you can get subscribed very easily by coming over to geeknewscentral.com, basically clicking on the iTunes button that's on the second column of the website. And that will basically load iTunes and get you automatically subscribed to the podcast. Now, if you've got a Zune, you can do it through the Zune Marketplace. Or if you're using, you've got a BlackBerry or just a regular mobile media player, there's lots of ways to get the show delivered automatically to that device. And that's the key, is so that you basically automatically get the show updated into your mobile device and you don't miss an episode. And of course, you can watch us online at geeknewscentral.com as well. So, if you're a new listener, I want to welcome you to the show. It's my pleasure to basically introduce you to the world of podcasting. Well, we've got 160 countries tuning into the show, 160 countries worldwide. Thanks for all of you that are subscribed worldwide. Thanks for coming out and hanging out. And of course, I want to give a very warm welcome to our Ohana. And if those of you that are new don't know what Ohana is basically in Hawaiian, it's family. So welcome to our family. And for those of you that have been part of the Ohana for a long time, thanks for staying subscribed. Thanks for being part of the show. And it's really, this is what it's all about. This is all for you. Again, as I said in my opening remarks here, if you are a longtime listener of the show and you know someone that's got a new mobile media device, help them get hooked up in this great space of podcasting. Now, the person that you may have given the gift to may not be a tech geek, he may not be into science, but he may be, or she may be into any other topic, A to Z. And there's literally thousands of great shows out there for them to subscribe to and really get their daily fix, fill their brain with good information. So help all those help all those folks get connected to this show and others. And of course, if they're technically inclined, we encourage them to get over to techpodcast.com. Over 100 shows of family safe content over there, stuff that you can listen to in the car while the kids are listening as well, and not have to worry about having to turn the volume down quickly. It's all family safe content. Well, the shipment is ready to go to Vegas. I'm ready to go to Vegas. And of course, what happens in Vegas is not going to stay in Vegas. It's going to be broadcast by our team of 9 that are going out to the Consumer Electronics Show. It's really a week from today. We will be doing our thing. We'll be doing the crawl, basically going and visiting a lot of different vendors, talking to executives, talking to engineers, talking to the PR folks, and getting them really kind of getting up to speed on what's new in the line of the tech world. Flurry of emails today between Annie, myself, and Jeffrey. Of course, Jeffrey's watching online right now. We've got just literally, I think I counted on my inbox today, there was 300 emails from prospective vendors that want to talk to us. I kind of went through and prioritized, at least on my part, which vendors that we kind of have on the maybe want to see, definitely want to see, and on those that must see. And we've got a gal that is actually organized on all that. Her name is Kara. You guys will get to meet her while we're doing the content out of the show. And it's a process, really, for us to kind of get prepared. And really, all those emails come in really mean very little, because the action starts when we hit Vegas. At least when I get to Vegas Monday morning and arrange to pick up all my equipment. 5 boxes. If FedEx is telling me exactly what it's going to cost me, it's about $400 to have everything shipped out there, and then, of course, $400 to get it shipped back. 3 camera systems, full wireless for all 3 camera sets, lights, mixers, extra wiring for the special events that we're going to be doing with our friends at NBC Universal. Lots of stuff. I mean, it's just literally, and my wife said, "How do you remember all this stuff?" And I said, "Well, you saw me have it all laid out here on the living room floor the other day. I actually had everything hooked up and make sure I had all the cables right." And that's really what it is, to make sure you have the ins and outsies, because once I hit Vegas, there's really going to be no time to be going to a store and trying to buy a cable, because at that point we got to be moving and getting the content that you're expecting from the team that's going to be out there. We've got a big strategy. Matter of fact, Andy and I were discussing a little bit this morning on when he was on his way. He's actually on his way back to Elkhart, Indiana right now. He's in transit. So we were actually talking about, okay, how are we going to set up the video streams? How are we going to organize the content going up on the websites? And I think we're come up with a pretty good plan on the video stream and what we're going to be doing there. But really, if you go over to geekazine.com, sdrnews.com, or geeknewscentral.com, or techpodcast.com during the show, you're going to find the content really replicated across all those sites. Now, we're going to be asking all our team members and those that are working with this over at Tech Podcast, also, if they feel like putting the streams up, we're going to make available the embeds so that they can actually, get access to the content as well. So we're going to have, really, Geek News Central is going to transform for about a week. There's going to be a lot of video embeds on the front page. All of it will be a variety of different content. We'll have our primary channel, which will be all recorded with all the high-def gear and basically doing the interviews. We'll have the back channel that's going to be shot with everything from flips to Sanyos to Kodak cameras, you name it. We're going to have a plethora of cameras there. They're actually going to be shooting the back channel. And the back channel is basically the real world of CES. And I think that you're all going to be excited to see that content. I know Jeffrey's been working hard on making sure that we're good to go for the back channel content, and coming up with a little plan on some production level that we're going to do to it as well. So I'm really excited about what is forthcoming out of Vegas. Now, being that we have 9 people on the ground doesn't mean that things are going to come faster, because it has been confirmed there's going to be no center stage this year. In other words, we're not going to have this big, huge bandwidth pipe to access, and this is scaring us a little bit, because it's all about the bandwidth. And I'm taking a WiMAX card. I'm taking the clear box. We're going to keep that on through the end of Vegas. I'm taking my eVideo card, but there's only so much bandwidth there amongst multiple computers, and trying to push all this video content up and relying on the hotel connection, it'll be interesting to see how it's all going to work out. Unless we have someone miraculously come and say, "Hey, we got this trailer over here. It's got connected to a big fat pipe. Come over and push it." I am concerned about the data rate and how fast we're going to be able to get stuff out. And probably what we're going to do is going to be sleeping while our computers are uploading stuff. But anyway, yeah, FedEx loves me, and the Monte Carlo is going to love me as well, because I have to pay a bounty to get those boxes out of purgatory once it goes into their business center. So that's going good. Hey, do you want to thank? Did get a couple of contributions on my salary placement plan. I want to thank you for those, and I'll give you an update here on the next show on exactly where we're at percentage-wise on that as well. And Jeffrey's just asking in the chat, will we have time to sleep? Yes, there will be time to sleep. You can't go 7 days. Well, we get a few hours every night. Okay, I have a confession to make. I told you guys that I had a very enjoyable holiday period. See, the 13-year-old and the 12-year-old are in Michigan with grandma, right? So the 6-year-old's here, and he's, been relatively easy to entertain and having fun. And, we're letting him play the Wii, and Dad and him do, we do a few things and go out in the yard. But we have gotten hooked like it's nobody's business on Lost. And I told you guys I never really had watched Lost before. Well, my Roku box and my Netflix subscription have resulted in a nonstop marathon Lost session. We are on season 4, episode 7, and my wife says we're going to have to finish get through season 5 before you leave for Vegas. And she says, because if we don't, I'm going to watch it without you. And what really kind of is, what's bad is season 6 starts here after the new year, and I'm not going to watch week to week. I just can't do it. It just doesn't. It's more fun to watch them one after the other. So it's, oh man, like a junkie. I'm telling you. I can tell you everything you want to know about Lost, and it's pretty sad because we're joking about it because we don't watch that much TV, but over the holiday I completely didn't check email. Computers were off. I mean, it was calm, peaceful. It was great. It really, really was. So it is what it is. Okay, let's go ahead and take care of a little business, and we'll get into the regular content tonight. Let me make sure I'm going through my list here to make sure we've got everything taken care of. Hey, check out the free magazine and technical papers on the website, offers that are available. You'll see that in the third column of the website. Of course, we want to thank our longtime sponsors. Really, if you think about it, the folks at GoDaddy and the folks at Citrix, they've been here year after year. And they're really responsible for helping keep the lights on. So when you're thinking about a domain product or a hosting product, being a listener of this show, you really need to think about GoDaddy.com. Because when you get over there, they've always got the best prices. They've got the best hosting deals. They have the best, you can accessorize yourself to death with everything that they offer. But just remember, when you get to that checkout counter and you get ready to basically pay that bill for whatever it is you have purchased, don't forget the promo codes, TODD. That'll save you 10% on non-domain orders. Geek5 will save you 15% on orders $20 or more. ComSale will get you .coms at $7.49. And there's a host of other promo codes as well. There's basically a link to it right there on the website, second column of geeknewscentral.com. You'll find it, GoDaddy promo codes. Click in there and grab yourself a couple of codes, give them a try, see which one saves you the most money. Really, GoDaddy.com. Thanks for GoDaddy. They've really been here and really have sustained us for the long haul, and I appreciate them, and I hope you do so as well. Hey, of course, GoToMeeting. Couldn't do this job. I couldn't do, my team at Raw Voice. Barry's in Michigan. Jeff is in New York. Brian is in Colorado. Angelo's in Ohio. Rob, who is our lead on our social media scene, he's in New York. Mike, who does most of our tech support, he's in Michigan. We've got Kathy that does a lot of the copyright stuff. She's out in Colorado. All this could not be done without GoToMeeting. I mean, I'm in a GoToMeeting session continuously. We're reviewing stuff. We're marking stuff up. We're talking about it. Face-to-face business meetings. It doesn't have to happen anymore, folks. You don't have to do it. It's ridiculous. Don't leave your office and drive across town or get in an airplane and go somewhere for a face-to-face meeting. Sometimes it's important, but hey, business travel is expensive. Save yourself some money. You can do more or less and travel less with GoToMeeting. But just a click, you can host sales presentations. You can walk through insertion orders like I was doing today. GoToMeeting is just $49 a month for unlimited online meetings. You can host 5 meetings or 500 for one flat rate per month, plus voice over IP and phone conferencing included. And you know what the story is. As a listener of this show, you can try GoToMeeting free for 30 days. That's a month of unlimited meetings, free. Give it a try. Download it. Give it a run. It's a new year. It's, well, soon to be a new year. Download that GoToMeeting application. Give it a try. And tell me whether or not it saved you $49 worth of money at the end of the month. Go ahead, do it. For this special offer, you must visit www.gotomeeting.com/tech podcast. That's with an S, tech podcast. That's gotomeeting.com/tech podcast for a free trial. Again, thanks to Citrix and thanks to the folks at GoDaddy for their longtime support of this show. Okay, let me look here at what I've got. And yeah, Jeffrey's saying it's going to be a new decade. It's right. It's a great way to start the decade off with a domain name, some hosting services, you name it. How many of you have, I kind of disconnected from the news. I mean, really, was not even reading the news, listening, watching, nothing. So when we turned on, I think I turned on Fox. Oh, when was it? Yesterday? And we had went to one family gathering in the evening on Christmas Eve. And really no one was talking about anything going on in the news that night. So I was pretty much shocked when I heard about this situation that happened on this airplane flying into Detroit. And, we've spent a lot of money on technology, on detection equipment, on making us take our shoes off, our belts off, all the stuff that you have to go through. Now, I traveled 128,000 miles last year, 96 flight segments, and I've been through my fair share of TSA checks. But to think that at this point, after everything that this country has went through, with the facts that happened around 9/11, with the terrorists before paying cash for a ticket, a one-way ticket, and having no bags checked, that some guy could get on an airplane, even if it was overseas, an American carrier, pay cash for a ticket with no luggage going to the United States for 2 weeks. Wouldn't that have not just sent sirens off in your brain? Any logical, any person that had any clue with, irregardless of whatever the watch list was. And then this guy puts this device between his legs. Okay. And waits till he gets just outside of Detroit and tries to set this thing off. I'd like to know the full story on how that went down. His version of how he tried to ignite this thing. Igniting something between your legs, you got to be pretty dedicated, male or female. And, and this guy that jumped over 4 seats and basically pounced on this dude, it's just amazing. Billions and billions of dollars has been spent on airport security, and yet we're at this point right here where we are now going to be forced to live with the new rules that are coming into effect. And for me, I fly a lot, and I don't know how it's going to affect domestic flights. They consider flights out of Honolulu domestic. So we'll see what happens there. But doesn't just burn you up. Let's just be honest. Our taxpayer dollars have spent billions of dollars in airport security. And we're still dealing with this? Something's got to change. Someone needs to be fired. And, the blame goes back to the previous administration as well. So hopefully, and of course, the president is here in Honolulu on vacation and causing, issues with traffic over on the other side of the island. Actually, I'm going to be venturing over that way tomorrow. Not near his residence, of course, but have to run an errand over there. And so hopefully the president will, they'll get their act together and get Homeland Security to fix this. But in this day and age, this is unacceptable. And with the technology available, they can fix this. Now, what do you guys think about this, this imaging, this body imaging? And basically it sees through clothes and really kind of gives them an X-rated view of you. But you think about it, the way they describe how he hid this device, you just wonder if they'd even had seen it then with that. So I don't know what the answer is, but we'll all be strip searched before it's too long. Get to the TSA check-in counter. And they'll say, "Sir, please remove your clothes. Walk through the metal detector, sir. Walk through our X-ray machine. Now, do some prison style searches to make sure that we're all good to go." Yeah, it's coming. I'm telling you. But good job for the folks on the airplane getting that stopped. But this is, to me, it's unacceptable, and hopefully we don't have any more issues. All right, let's go ahead and get into the real tech. I just wanted to comment about that. All right, DirecTV is going to launch a 3D channel in high def. DirecTV intends to launch the first U.S. 3D HD TV channel early next year. The satellite TV provider plans to make the announcement at the 2010 Consumer Electronics Show on January 7th. And I'm going to probably put this one on I'm not a big 3D fan, but I suppose some of you probably are. So I got to talk to Jeffrey and Andy and see whether or not we want to go basically sit in on this specific press release or press event. But do you guys want to watch 3D in your house? That's kind of, to me, is it going to be that good? Do you really want to go this deep with the televisions? Do we need 3D in the home? It's fun to go to like these places where at amusement parks where you go into the building, you sit and they shake the chair and they have someone, reach out at you. That's kind of cool. It's fun. But I don't know if I want to sit in my house and wear 3D glasses to watch the tube. I don't know. Would you guys want to? How many of your DirecTV subscribers? We can't get it here. But I'm kind of curious what you guys think. geeknews@gmail.com is the email address. Of course, you can call the voicemail hotline at +1 619 342 7365. How many of you live in New York? Did you try to get a 3G iPhone over the holidays? Did you know you couldn't order one for a few days? Apparently, AT&T had some sort of issue. There's not a lot of clarity to it yet. Of course, AT&T's party line at this point is saying that it was basically a scam was going on. People were ordering phones with bogus or with stolen credit cards or something to that effect. But I guess you couldn't get a 3G iPhone for a while. And there was, of course, some other stuff that happened where some operators were basically telling the people that were calling in that New York wasn't cell phone ready at that time. So I'm trying to look here in the email. And I had got an email from Trucker Tom because I hadn't pulled it out and dropped it into the play folder, and it's MIA. We'll find it here. Oh, actually, I just found it. Okay, so I got that for later for comments that Trucker Tom made. So anyway, I guess they're back on sale, so you now can pick them up if you live within New York City, the Bronx, and so forth. Another rumor coming out is possibly that Lenovo is developing an ebook reader. Now, why should this come as a surprise? Because at this point in the game, don't you think that like every company in the planet is going to be trying to put together a ebook? And hang on a second, I've done this twice. Let me go ahead and flip this. All right, there we go. So anyway, Lenovo is possibly developing an ebook reader. And we'll find out here probably next week when we're out in Vegas for CES. But how many of you got ebooks for Christmas? How many of you actually got a Kindle? I guess that was the number one thing that was given this Christmas to people were Kindles. And of course, I've got my replacement Kindle from the one I broke. That has arrived, and I've got it loaded up with all of the books that I actually. Do you know you guys can share? If you've got 2 or 3 family members that have Kindles, I think you can activate up to 5 devices, and you can all share books that have been purchased. They make it really easy, so you can just share them out, and so that way you can multiple Kindles can have the same library. So I thought that was pretty cool. There's a company that is called Unitech, and they have come out with a USB 3.0 to SATA adapter. It's $48. And what I like about this is that USB 3.0 will have theoretical data transfer speeds of 5 gigs per second. And again, that's 10 times faster than USB 2.0 of 480 megabits per second. And this is a device that you can, it's just, you guys all seen those little breakout cables, for the old ones for IDE drives and so forth. But this just basically plugs into your SATA drive. It's got a little power cord that powers it, and then it's got a USB plug to plug into your netbook if you have, or a computer that's USB 3.0 capable. And you can read a standard SATA drive. And I was looking at this, I'm like, wow, I wish I would have had time to order one of these before I head to Vegas, because I'd have just, it's a lot cheaper just to buy bare drives. I could have run it this way instead of buying the enclosures. So this is pretty good little price. And of course, I'm sure all of you that are geeks that love to have external drives hanging out, or actually, backup drives and so forth like this, will definitely want to pick up one of these. It's $48. They're very, very cheap. You guys hear that? My little dog is walking in. My wife is out with my son at this moment. You guys know what mochi is? I'm sure the majority of you don't. But she is at a quote-unquote mochi making party, and it's a big thing for Japanese and around the New Year. They basically pound rice to submission. They put in some, I don't know how they, whatever, they add water and some other sugar and some other stuff, but it's really, really good. But it's time-consuming. They actually have a wood mallet, and they just beat the rice and roll it and flip it until it gets into this sticky, gooey, tasty stuff called mochi. And so she's out doing that. So I've got the house opened up, got a nice breeze running through here tonight. The trades are actually blowing well. But if you ever get a chance and you have mochi, you can pick up some mochi, give it a try. It's a Japanese New Year's delicacy. And actually, they eat it year-round, but it's well-known in around the New Year. All right, Jeffrey wrote a pretty good article over on Geek News Central. And this has gotten a huge number of comments. I think today, if I'm looking here, it's up to 9. And boy, oh boy, the Mac fanboys came out in force. But he wrote an article, the one thing Apple did wrong this year. And I think that this will probably cause a few of you to leave comments as well. But basically, Jeffrey takes Apple to task on essentially being too expensive. And the biggest mistake they made was not lowering the prices of their computers any more than they did throughout the year. And he says, here's the quote I love: Apple didn't do anything viable for the average consumer. Now, for those of you that are, Mac users and you bought a new Mac this year, I'd love to hear your comments on this. And of course, if you've got, just leave them on the web if you want, or if you want to email in, that would be cool too. But it's gotten pretty good traction, a lot of traffic today. You, Jeffrey, you definitely got underneath the skin of a few people because I've been improving comments to it all day long. But good write-up. I agree with it. You may or may not. But anyway, I have the link up to it in the show notes. All right, this next article is not really a techie one, but this photograph is a view, and this is over on Gizmodo. It's a view from the top of the Kiev-Moscow bridge. And just looking at the picture makes me almost want to throw up. It's the photographer has gotten an amazing perspective. He's sitting on something, and his feet are just dangling, and all you see are these cables going way down. And it's pretty unusual image, and he really did a good job in capturing the essence of, you don't want to be there. This is like one of those things. This is, you wake up with, you would have a nightmare in this scenario. At least I would. But this guy was able to capture pretty amazing a picture. I have it up in the show notes. You can check it out. But just when you initially look at it, please verify with me whether or not it just kind of made you go, ugh, kind of queasy. And those of you that are kind of height repellent, in other words, you don't like getting more than 2 or 3 feet off the ground, you'll definitely not want to take a look at this picture, but it's pretty cool, irregardless. Okay, we're going to talk a little bit about the 27-inch iMac, and I'm looking for as many people as we have listening to the show. I know a number of you probably got an iMac for Christmas, but there's been a huge number of iMacs that have failed. Primarily, the screen has failed. And I don't know if you're in this situation or not, if you have received a iMac that is busted or not, but the folks over at Gizmodo, one of the writers over there, has his second iMac has got another jacked up screen. And obviously he's not very happy after spending $2,200 on a computer, and the second one that arrived has got an issue. And when they start calling, when Gizmodo starts calling out Apple, they're pretty Apple friendly generally. And but this article is pretty critical of this. And have any of you seen any issues with any of the iMacs that you've had recently? Have you got a 27-inch that has failed you? I'd love to hear your feedback. I know there's at least one person that has a horror story from Christmas. And you get a present that you were just absolutely couldn't wait to, open, maybe that you got for yourself, or you knew what your wife bought you or your husband bought you, or a kid got that didn't work. That's really disappointing for kids. Adults, we can kind of deal with it, but most kids, when they get stuff, they want to play with it. And we didn't have any technological failures here with any gear, but we did have some battery concerns. When I go to Vegas, I pack this year I'm packing 144 AA batteries. Now, I know you're going to say, well, you should take rechargeables. I already have extension cords that are plugged into multiple devices to get more plugs, and we run 2 or 3 extension cords in the room to get on, hopefully on different circuits for recharging. The last thing I have time to do is recharge batteries. So, because we got so many devices, and when I leave Vegas, I'll have maybe 10 or 15 batteries left if I'm lucky. Hopefully I don't run out like I did one year, but this year I've upped my count by 36. I ran out of batteries here, and I had to go break into my box that I was getting ready to ship to basically get the kids' Christmas presents charged. See, you always forget the important stuff, right? All right, the 11 best iPhone apps of 2009, and this is over on the Apple blog. And some of these, I don't even know anything about them. Maybe some of you do. But they're saying the best game is Rolando 2, Quest for the Golden Orchid. The best social community application, Tweety 2. Best use of push notification is Boxcar. Best news app is Byline. Best use of content is NFB Films. Best video app is Real Director. Best photography app is Photo Forge. Best sound app is I Am T-Pain. Best productivity tool is Notify Me. Best lifestyle app is Jamie Oliver's 20-Minute Meals. And best utility, Dropbox. I don't have any of these. Do I have Tweety? No, I don't have Tweety. Yeah, I do have Tweety 2. That's the only one I've got of these 10 apps that they call the best of 2009. So being that this is a blog that is dedicated to specifically Apple stuff, I will go out, and of course, if none of these cost like $29.99, I will install each of these apps over the next couple of days and play with them and give you guys some feedback. If you guys have got any of these apps loaded, I'd love to hear your own review. Of course, if you've got a BlackBerry app that you absolutely cannot live without, or if you have an Android application as well, hey, pick up the phone, call the voicemail hotline, give us a review, something to talk about during our New Year's Eve show, which I will be doing on Thursday. We'll probably be doing it very early because we've got a couple events we're going to go to on New Year's Eve. So call them in, 619-342-7365. All right, today Scoble wrote on his blog, actually he wrote about it a few days ago, about something called the Meebo Bar, M-E-E-B-O, the Meebo Bar. And I went over to his website to take a look at it. And really what it is, it's this real-time, basically, feed of information. And it's from Scoble's list of tech news brands, most influential people in tech. So it's kind of a cool little deal, but I don't think that's actually a Meebo app. Because I'm looking at this, and it says Twitter on the bottom of it. And I went over to the Meebo site, and it looks like the same, but I guess it is. But if any of you running this on your websites, the Meebo the Meeble Bar? If you are, I'd love to hear more information about this. He's got a pretty good video on it. 33 minutes, though, was a little long to go through. One thing about Scoble, when he does video interviews, they're pretty in-depth. But, I just want the cliff notes. I want the 10-minute write-up. And I got this really kind of late in the evening here tonight, so I didn't have a lot of time to go through and really kind of investigate Meebo. But if you want to check it out, again, it's at Meebo, meebo.com. And, hey, Andy. Andy, the cameraman, who is in Shanghai, China, is Skyping me, trying to Skype me right now. Andy, doing my show. So, okay, he can come over and he can wait. Andy's asking me. Andy's bought a domain name, and he's going to become a blogger. So we're going to get Andy set up. And so basically, I've got to get that built for him before I take off. Just basically get a basic install in, and then we're going to hire a developer, and we're going to skin his site and make it pretty nice. So I can't disclose what the domain name is yet or what Andy's going to be blogging about. But remember, he's a doctor. He's in Shanghai, China, taking care of expats. It ought to be a great, great series of what he's going to put together. So I look forward to helping Andy get that up and running. And Andy, if you're on the website right now, I'll basically text you, buddy, after the show. All right, we're on TechCrunch. More people around the world get their news online from Google News than CNN. There's a report from ComScore that throughout 2009, total unique visitor in millions, Google definitely was the king of the kill here. I mean, just, oh boy. More people definitely got their news through Google News, and than through than CNN, which is very interesting. CNN had about a 40 million unique visitors. I believe that's what the chart says. Where Google News came in, they came in at about 60 million. Now, Yahoo News, surprisingly, beat Google News throughout the year until August of 2009 when Google News surpassed Yahoo News. But the New York Times Digital still is king, 120 million unique visitors per month. That's some traffic. But so, I guess the folks over at the New York Times can't complain too much. But definitely more people got news from Google News than they did from CNN. And, having traveled overseas, CNN International is not really like CNN domestic. And I guess that's the best way to say it. The programming is just a little different. And I particularly don't care for their international content. But I'd much rather watch the BBC or one of the other UK companies that's putting out news when I'm overseas. All right, let's go ahead and move on here. Over on Robin Good's website, he's got the best 2009 articles and reports from masternewmedia.com. And this is really his best of the best, talking about guide to online content syndication, content licensing, online content distribution guides, ebook marketing, business strategy for news publishers. These are the articles that got the most play over at masternewmedia.org. Probably worth your time to go over there and check them out. And if you didn't already, I'm sure we talked about most of these throughout the year, but I have, of course, a link up to it in the show notes. timesonline.co.uk has an article, whereas there is basically some comments coming from the folks at Twitter talking about what happened back in June of 2009 when the previous Iranian uprusts were going on. Now, if you remember correctly, at that time, the Twitter was having a lot of stability issues. They were having to upgrade the website. They were down every 3 or 4 days. But what they were planning on doing a major upgrade on June 15th, and at the very same time, a lot of things were going on overseas, specifically in Iran, like they are right now. And when they made the announcement that they were going to be taking the site down, their phones started ringing off the hook. Immediately, we begin to see a reaction in the form of tweets. Then came the emails. Then came the phone calls. Even the U.S. State Department contacted us. The message was loud and clear. Twitter cannot rest while there is unrest in Iran. And as I'm reading this article, it makes me realize at this point, really what a powerhouse they have become. And I knew they were growing, and I knew it was huge, and everyone is gaga about Twitter. But check this out. He says in this article, in the new year, Twitter will begin supporting 1 billion, yes, I'm saying this correctly, 1 billion search queries a day. And they're going to be delivering listen to this, several billion tweets per hour. That's staggering. Several billion tweets an hour. Look at how many tweets you've made on your Twitter account. What is mine? I think I've made 3,000 some tweets. And I consider myself an active, someone's actively tweeting. And yet they're expecting to do several billion tweets per hour. If that's true, be honest with you, I'm dumbfounded. If you're not dumbfounded by that number, several billion. Have you guys seen what $1 billion looks like? Just, Google $1 billion. And do it in an image in Google image search. And you'll find some comparisons of what $1 million looks like and what $1 billion looks like. Or it kind of gives you some scale. That's a lot of tweets. That's a lot of zeros. Think of the infrastructure you need. That's running on like a lot of servers. I can understand if they were dealing with that fast of a growth rate. But, it's pretty humbling to get a call from the State Department saying, hey, you can't shut down. That's like the government. The government can't shut down. So when Twitter sells or when they get bought, it's going to be big. Big, big, big. As with probably some B's behind the price tag. While we're at it, let's talk about Hulu. I haven't talked about Hulu at all. Really here. I haven't visited Hulu. I haven't watched any videos on Hulu. Primarily because I just don't have enough time. But Hulu's growth is very obvious. From May of 2008, they went from 100 million monthly streams to October of 2009 to about 850 million streams per month. As compared to monthly viewers in May of 2008, they were at about 25 million, around 25 million monthly viewers. Monthly viewers. Whereas right now they have grown to about 43 million monthly viewers. So that gives you an idea that if they have millions of monthly streams, being 800 million, and they've got 40 million monthly viewers, that's like an average of 20 videos per month each of their monthly viewers are watching. Now, if they do as they say they're going to do. Now, you think about how much that's costing them to serve up that content. That's and I found this article is over on newtv.com to give them credit here. You think about that. You think about the amount of money it costs them to deliver this. And they're already losing money to social media, podcasting, and so forth for advertising dollars. They're going to start charging in 2010. It's obviously. So here's the question that I'm going to ask all of you that are Hulu users. How many of you would pay for a monthly subscription to the website if you could get everything that you get on TV right now, at least within the networks that are being recognized here, or actually they're working with? How much would you pay for it? What's the price point that you would stop using Hulu? Does it have to remain free? Would you pay $5 a month for it? Would you pay $2.99? Where's the break even point on that? And love to hear from you, because I haven't, be honest with you, I've probably visited the site twice, but I didn't realize that they were doing those types of numbers. 850 monthly streams, 850 million monthly streams. It's huge. So I guess I've had my head in the sand, folks. I need to start paying attention more for you. Well, moving on here over to TechCrunch. Google's about to get caffeinated with a faster search index. Google's getting pretty serious about real-time searches, adding Twitter, Facebook, and MySpace streams into results, and adding a recent update option, which is addictive, whatever that means. But behind the scenes, Google's also getting ready to push out an entirely new way of indexing the web, codename Caffeine. I'm reading directly from the TechCrunch article here. Give them credit here. Google has been testing this since last summer, and in one data center is now ready to push it out across all of Google. And some SEO folks are starting to see some changes and some faster response rates. So what they're thinking is going to happen here is that rankings and positions of people's websites are going to fluctuate. And so there may be a change in some websites' ranking. Websites that do lose ranking, they're saying, are likely to be relying on older archived content that's not been updated in years. So in other words, keep your content fresh on your website. That's what we try to do here at Geek News Central by having the bloggers that we do. Of course, the content's been a little slow over the holiday, but we'll get everyone cranked up for the new year. But anyway, they're thinking here that there's going to be some fluctuation. Google drives a lot of traffic to my website and others. You get 9,000 articles on any website or 9,000 pages. You just you get traffic because you've been longevity in a lot of content. So that's just because we've been around a while. So we'll see what happens with these. We'll keep an eye on it. Of course, I have a number of test scripts that I run on a regular basis to see where we fall out. There's one keyword that I have had no success in getting ranked on page 1 because everyone's battling for it. Someday I'll get there, but I'm not going to reveal what that keyword is. But someday I'll get it in off of page 2 onto page 1. And when I do, I'll be a very happy camper. If someone out there's got some of this experience in making that happen, we need to talk. All right, let's talk about the record-breaking Christmas sales over at the App Store. Download volume relative to Christmas, if you think in a basic constant level, basically 0 to 3, during the time period from December 23rd through Christmas Day and into the following day, the iPod Touch saw an increase in app downloads of 172%. And also the iPhone saw a tick from about half a percentage to 1. But that doesn't mean maybe like a 25% increase in downloads. And this comes from a website called Flurry. They're basically saying that Christmas download shares across leading Android devices was primarily the Droid. Droid drove 49%. HTC Hero was 17%. The G1 was 16%. MyTouch was 18%. App Store versus Android market growth during December over November, 51% for the App Store, 22% for the Android. So obviously Apple has made a big impact over the Christmas holidays. I was getting my car washed today. We've got this great place here in Honolulu. It's called McKinney Car Wash, and basically it's an old-fashioned gas station. You drive up, they check your air pressure, they fuel your car for you, they go over through, they basically, lift the hood up and check the oil and all that. And then if you buy a minimum of $8 worth of gas, which in Hawaii is like 3 gallons, you get a discounted car wash. And so then they have the guys that wipe the car down. And so I'm getting to the point here. So I sit down on some benches, and there's this Chinese lady sitting next to me with her friend that obviously have known each other for years, and they're talking about their iPod Touch that they got for Christmas. And I didn't say nothing. I just was the fly on the wall, right? Listening to them talk. They were in their 60s at least. And she was talking up a storm how she could listen to music, watch movies. She talked about podcasting. I could have cheered. I wanted to jump up and cheer. Really, I really did. when I heard her really, talk about being able to download podcasts. I was blown away. And I just kept my mouth shut. I just wanted to say something, but I didn't. And they went on and on and on. My car was done. The guy was waving what they do is they try to get you out of there. They wave their wiping towels at you. And I kind of ignored him for about 2 minutes, just listening to the lady. And I drove out of there excited. I know every podcaster sees a Christmas bump. But when I see a 60-plus-year-old lady having an iPod Touch, excited and talking about it, though just like a teenager, folks, things have changed. Things have changed. How many of you got your mom an iPod for Christmas? And if you didn't, why not? It just blows me away. It really did. Great conversation. So I'm not surprised by these numbers. I'm really not. But it's amazing, being out and about and just hearing people talk. And the key is being quiet, not adding to the conversation, You can learn a lot about what's going on in the tech space. All right, let's talk about the New York Times and why Amazon cannot collect more taxes. Now, we all enjoy being able to list, if you live in a state that doesn't have an Amazon office where you can buy stuff over Amazon, you don't have to pay sales tax. We all enjoy that, right? But Amazon could reach sales approaching $21.7 billion. Now, I don't like to pay taxes. We all don't like to pay taxes. We're probably all going to be paying more taxes here soon. The $21.7 billion. I was talking with I went to, this is antidote to this story. Got done with my car getting washed. I had to go buy another Sony battery, an FP970 battery. They're about $100 a piece because I needed one more battery for the Z1U for my Sony big camera. And I went into this store that I normally go into. It's a Sony dealer. Went in to see because I didn't have time to order one online. And I buy a lot of stuff from this guy in the past. And I went in and we were talking and I'm like, I said, your inventory's looking a little thin. You must have had a great Christmas. He says, no, we had a terrible Christmas. And I said, what happened? He says, we're going out of business next month. And so him and I got to talking more. And what he has told me is that customers will come into a store. They are the experts on Sony. I could go in there. He can answer anything. They know, and all their products are competitively priced. So you can go to a big box, go to his store, a few bucks different. Maybe you're going to pay 2, 3, 4% higher. Okay, so not a lot of money. But on a $1,000 product purchase, maybe it's $20 or $30 or $40 more. People will come into the store, ask him questions about the products, and then walk out and go buy online or go buy somewhere else. He says we can't compete. He says I can't make a profit by teaching people about a product and then having them go out and support some other company. He says, for years customers have come in and been able to. I've had this relationship, and I'm all about supporting local businesses when I can. And in Hawaii, we pay a lot more for stuff here than you do in the mainland, and so it can be a challenge because I know I can get stuff shipped in cheaper. But I bought 2 cameras from this guy, 2 high-dollar cameras. So I've spent a lot of money in his place of business before, and he appreciates me as a customer, and I appreciate having him as a. So we talked quite a little bit. So here you've got Amazon, who is not paying $21.7 billion in. They're paying no sales tax on that income. Well, we've all benefited from that. But here's a real-world situation where this guy, been in business 30 years, can no longer compete on a local scale against an online vendor. Now, times are changing. We all know that. But, so $21.7 billion in sales tax was not paid to any of the states that Amazon doesn't have business in. At the same point, we have a gentleman who has 5 employees paying them a salary And when you go in there and make a purchase, you pay sales tax. It goes back to your local community, and it stays within the community. And I am going to go out on a limb here and say something I thought I would never say. And I've had some really, really heavy realizations here in the last couple of weeks. And I'd love to hear you guys' comment on this. And you can comment at geeknews@gmail.com. But here's my position change. I believe every purchase made online, sales tax should be come back to the state in which the purchase was made from, no matter what. I can't believe I said that. But based upon what I talking to this guy in this business today, business 30 years, and he can't compete with the Amazons because people are willing to save $20 and buy something from Amazon and not through his business and have a personal relationship. And I think this is more and more across the country. Now, I am sure some of you have just fell out of your chairs. And I admit, I hate paying sales tax. But at the same point, many of our states are in big trouble. And, what's my relationship with Amazon? I get stuff cheap. Do I mind paying sales tax? Yeah, I don't like to, but would I? Yes. And may give some other local vendors some compete, and a way to compete. I know. Go ahead. Fire away. geeknews@gmail.com. I know I'm going to get crucified here, but +1 619 342 7365 is the telephone number. And I'd love to hear from you. Really, really would. You guys are like, your jaws are like on the table. I know it. I know it is. It's tough. Tough making a policy, internal change like that. But when your friends are affected and you see the real world results, you really have to say, is it right? How many of us have walked? I've done it. I have done it. I'm guilty. I've went into a store. I've looked at the products. I've touched it, turned the channel. I played with it and went and bought something online. I've done it. No more. I will not do that anymore. If I go in the store and find something I like, if it's a few bucks more, I'll buy it. All right, Doc Sorrell's weblog, Earth to Hollywood. Why do we still have region coding on DVDs? How many of you are dealing with that? Doc Sorrell's over on vacation in Europe, and he forgot to take some DVDs with him, actually skiing in the Alps. Woo-hoo, tough life, right? And he tried, said, I forgot to bring them. So he said, I got my Netflix subscription. Let me go ahead and log in and stream some videos. The detective, he was outside the United States, said you can't do it. So I'm sure those of you that are out, that listen to the show in the 159 countries that are outside the United States are probably laughing. See what we're dealing with? So anyway, he's, Doc Sorrells has finally realized what's going on with region encoding and the silliness that goes on with not allowing access across a variety of sites. Hey, want to give a little help article out for those of you that may have gotten a Mac for Christmas. If the Santa Claus brought you a Mac, opening window on the Mac. Well, there's a good article here in the Wall Street Journal talking about some tips on using your new Mac. I have that linked up for you. We want to help everyone with their tech toys. So send me your links to all the coolest tech toys help sites that you've found, because we got to get everyone up to speed here in the next couple of days. Send me all the links to everything that you find for help sites, for Macs, for PCs, for your, anything we can help. All of you that have gotten your new toys, we want to send you toward those help sites. Email me at geeknews@gmail.com. All right, a Soyuz is docked with the International Space Station. Soyuz spacecraft carrying 3 new crew members docked at the International Space Station on Tuesday. So this happened, of course, before Christmas. And so now we've got... let's see, 3 new members are a Russian cosmonaut, a NASA astronaut, and a Japanese astronaut, Soichi Noguchi. So congratulations to, and they're back up to six people up there. Oh, by the way, SciStar, halt sales of Mac Planning Tool, and they're going to peddle Linux PCs. Oh, by the way. And Sony Pictures is starting to make available some movies online as a digital release ahead of DVDs, and this is a shift. Remember we were talking about that some of the movie houses were, or actually the companies like Sony were going to delay digital releases and get the DVDs on the street for 3-4 weeks before the digital release. Well, they reversed that, and I think that this is not gonna. It's gonna be a good thing for them that they're going to make the digital releases available before the DVDs. They're finally smelling the roses. They know that things are changing. All right, let's talk about, got to look at the time here. Big Wireless unveils plans to reduce TV spectrum use. Big Wireless has been complaining for a while about the impending shortage of spectrum licenses. And so the article over here on Ars Technica goes into their announced plan, what they want to do. And I know many of you have sent in emails to me talking about your concern about over-the-air TV going away. Well, what the mobile folks want to do, and they're proposing, is that they want the TV industry to, instead of having these big, huge, big, powerful transmitters that really have bleed over and cause big gaps, like you can have as much as 160 miles in between where a signal drops off and where the next signal can start. In other words, if you're at the very edge of a TV reception area, from that point to where another transmitter's drop-off point was is about 160 miles. They have to leave a dead zone. So what they want to do is they want licensed television stations in the United States to move broadcast TV from a system based on a single high-powered transmitter towards a distributed network. In other words, a closely spaced array of lower-power towers. And the later development would create a much smaller interference footprint around TV transmitters, and therefore would permit closer spacing between co-channel. The folks that are in, basically, they're allowed to use up to 18 megahertz of frequency for a single television station. That's a lot. 18 megahertz is huge. Most transmit within about a 6 megahertz footprint, and but that's huge to be able to. They think that they can reclaim 100 to 180 megahertz of spectrum for wireless if they were to. This is going to be expensive because all these new towers are going to have to go up and new technology and so forth. But they feel that this spectrum that would be freed up would be worth as much as $70 billion. Why don't they take that $70 billion and just hardwire the entire country? Make television and internet a utility. Make sure that it gets run to your house. It's required for every house in the country. It just has to be a standard feature. When they build a house, boom, in goes internet, boom, in goes your television signal, boom. You don't need no more tower. Hey, from here on out, we need to do that. And that would free up everything. But that's not where we're at. But I think that's where we're going to head. Now, this is going to be a big fight whether or not this is going to happen or not, but this is what they're proposing. Hear about this couple out in Oregon that followed their GPS to getting them lost? I'm telling you, when I was in the Navy, we had this manual. It's called the NATOPS, and it's basically a flight safety manual. And inside, I think on page 2 or whatever of the manual, they basically said this book is not a substitute to good judgment or, basically your common sense. It lists all the emergency procedures. It lists all of the to-do items in case of a fire, in case of an explosive decompression, all that stuff. But still, situations can arise where your brain could actually figure things out. If you're using a GPS in your car, it is not a substitute for good common sense, folks. Don't let it lead you into the trouble that these folks got into. They were stranded for 3 bone-chilling nights on the snowy back road in eastern Oregon. Oh, that's just a place you want to be, right? They could have died. They got lucky. They got lucky. The deputy who located them was because their GPS-enabled cell phone put out a faint signal that authorities could use to find them. Whew. GPS almost did him in, and GPS saved him. We're going to be talking at CES some folks about some cool GPS products. If you are doing these backcountry drives, you're going to want to purchase. We'll share with that at CES. All right, here's a cool one. National Geographic is reporting that the migration of the Earth's magnetic pole has accelerated again, is now racing in Russia's direction and blazing 40 miles per year. The movement began in earnest around 1904 at about 9 miles per year and has been accelerating since. Geologists think the Earth has a magnetic field because the core is made up of a solid iron center surrounded by a rapidly spinning liquid rock. This creates a dynamo that drives our magnetic field. So they say this thing can shift. The North Pole can shift based upon what's going on in the core. So we'll see what happens with that. Hey, good security article. I'm not going to go into it in too depth here, but good guys bring down the Mega D botnet. Talk about how they actually beat the botnet by going on the offensive instead of being on the defensive. Also, if you've been into Best Buy and you've been offered a deal where you purchase a certain product, you'll get a free app by making a purchase. In other words, a free iTunes app. The app they're offering is already free, okay? So if you're trying to get that free app by making that $9.99 purchase, the app they're offering is already free, okay? 1 in 5 divorce petitions mention Facebook. And, I was on Facebook. I was looking around at my classmates and, looking at their profiles. None of the people that I know on Facebook I ever dated. But apparently, some of you are going on Facebook and finding long-lost high school loves and rekindling some fires and getting in trouble. Be careful. Facebook is fueling divorce. Ladies, you don't like your men talking to ex-girlfriends. Men, you don't want your wives talking to ex-boyfriends. Doesn't work. It's not good. Unless it's widely acknowledged and there's great trust. Be careful, okay? Defriend them. Get rid of them. Don't do it. All right, Reuters. Blogger questions Reuters' editorial actions, transparency action. Some bloggers over at Reuters are not happy because of an article that was written that was requested to be taken down, was taken down because it was a story about a hedge fund big shot. And apparently this guy complained to Reuters about the article about him, and they pulled it. Transparency in action there, huh? You on MySpace? Do you want to get off MySpace? You want to un-MySpace yourself? Got a great article up on Wired for you to check out. Okay? All right. That's it in the regular content tonight. Let me go over here and, boy, oh boy, I got to get this loaded so I can play Tom's comment here. Let's see where I can put that. And let me save that. And then let me open up Winamp here and add a file. See, I was really prepared for tonight's show, folks. Let me go over here to the folder I dumped it in, and we'll get into to Trucker Tom's. Oh, okay, here we go. Trucker Tom has a comment on the Red Box. This is, those red boxes you rent DVDs. So here comes Trucker Tom's comments on that. And of course, if you've got comments on tonight's show, voicemail hotline is +1 619 342 7365. geeknews@gmail.com is the email address. Here comes Trucker Tom's comments.
Hey Todd, Tom Wiles here, aka Trucker Tom.
You sound like you're driving, Tom.
In the past, you talked about Redbox,
yeah,
the DVD rental vending machines, and I was kind of vaguely aware of them. I knew that they were being installed in a lot of different places, but I really hadn't looked one over until a couple of days ago. Happened to be at a Walgreens store, and they had one right outside, and so I was looking it over. To make a long story short, I ended up renting a movie District 9, which I liked very much, by the way.
It's good, wasn't it?
And come to find out, there's even a Redbox vending machine right in the small town of West Fork, Arkansas, which I live near. So I don't even have to drive into the larger town, into the larger towns in northwest Arkansas to access a red box vending machine if I don't want to. And so overall, I'm very impressed with the service. It only costs $1. You can't stream anything online of the quality of like a District 9 or other popular movies. You can't buy them on iTunes that cheaply. Most movies aren't worth owning anyway. There's only a few movies, in my opinion, that are worth owning on DVD. Most of them I'd rather just see once, maybe twice, and that's it, and maybe come back to them, years later or something. But so overall, I'm very pleased with the Redbox experience. One of the nice features of it is that that's useful for me is that I can rent a Redbox DVD at one location and then return it to another vending machine somewhere else. And that could be completely across the country or, whatever. But you can't beat that $1 price tag.
That's true.
And of course, their selection is limited to the most popular current releases. But on the other hand, I like it. I like the concept. It's been ages since I bothered to go to a place like Blockbuster to rent a DVD. And the Netflix thing, I know it's popular with a lot of people, but it just doesn't, it's not practical for me because I'm traveling all the time.
Yep.
So, but the Redbox is. Really like that service, and I think it's probably going to take off. It's a product, or it's a service that comes along at the right time. In this economy, $1 to rent a DVD, $1 per DVD per 24 hours is extremely reasonable.
Hey, thanks for the comments, Tom. And you know what? My wife was telling me there's a little market down the hill from us. It's called Malama Market. And basically, it's a gold mine. It's a great location. They're catching all the traffic that's coming up the hill. No one wants to make the left turn and go down and get caught in traffic at this little town that's called Kapolei, where it's bottom of the hill where I live. I actually live up in Makakilo. So anyway, this Malama Market, just a small grocery store, they've got two of these Redbox vending machines. And I was kind of asking the gal, I was like, "What? How come you guys got two?" And she says, "Honey, there are people lined up at that thing 10 deep every day getting videos. And it got so popular they had to put in another one because they weren't able to supply, the supply and demand got so great. And so lo and behold, today I'm driving by there and there's a third one out there. I was like flabbergasted. 3 machines, all same video selections, but so many people are renting from it at $1 a piece. I said, man, that company's going places. 3 of them outside a vendor. Of course, the vendor gets a cut of the proceeds. So I like my Netflix account, but I like $1 a DVD as well. Blockbuster stores, they're done. They're done. There's no way they can compete with that. They really can't. And what you can't get on out of the Redbox, guess what you're going to get out of it? You're going to come home and look at pay-per-view or something like that for the rest of the stuff. Okay, let's go ahead and get into the email comments. I got an email here from Lamar. He says, "Hey, Todd, the problem is that," and this is about red light traffic cameras. He said, "Todd, the problem is that some of the intersections have fast yellow lights that have gotten motorists to be afraid to go through the yellow light. Some cameras will get you for even crossing the solid white line. Of course, we also have then famous tailgaters, hence most of the rear-end collisions." And I understand. That's probably why those are on the rise on those where those cameras are at. Also got an email here from Trucker Tom on basically talking about the scramble for scramble for more airwaves. And I have a link up to the article that Tom has referenced. Is actually a different one than I had talked about during the show. So thanks for that, Tom, as well. I got an email. Thanks, Andrew. Thank you for your holiday message. He says, part of my public part of my note. Also, thanks again for having me on the 24-hour podcast. Really enjoyed it. Thanks for the nice shout on the recent show. I haven't had hands-on experience with the Canos EOS 7D yet, but that may be my next camera because of the video performance, in addition to the still photo quality is so good. Also, I was watching a National Geographic special on the CERN Super Collider. Holy cow, they trashed 38 super magnets at about $1 million a magnet by accident. I think he covered the story. Not fun. He says, I forgot to mention on the 24-hour podcast, I also was fortunate to live and study in Germany in 1993, and I visited CERN, where they showed us how something called the internet was developed. People were typing text on monochromatic screens, and they explained how the universities were the main people using it. I don't think anyone knew what was to come, and I think you're right there. I don't think anybody really knew. Andrew, thanks for your note. I want to thank Matthew for his Christmas reply, and it's definitely appreciated. And see here, Todd, if you're still doing Ohana job calls. Oh, here we go. This is for those of you down under. Matthew is looking for a job, and he said if you're still doing the Ohana job call starting January for a search is on for an experienced pre-sales engineer in Melbourne and an experienced system architect in Sydney or Brisbane. Oh, so he's actually looking for people. So he's looking for an experienced pre-sales engineer in Melbourne and an experienced system architect in Sydney or Brisbane. Any IT background, but storage preferred. So if any of you guys are in Australia, or you even are willing to, I don't know what the job requirements are for being able to work in Australia, but Matthew's looking for a couple of people down under. Again, an experienced pre-sales engineer in Melbourne and an experienced system architect in Sydney and Brisbane. So hopefully we'll get some replies, Matthew, and we'll hook some of the Ohana up that's down under. Thanks for Feliz from your holiday wish from Brazil. I definitely appreciate that. Same for Lamar. Thank you for your Christmas greeting. I want to thank Keith for his as well. I want to thank Barry Schwartz for his, Stefan Convery as well, and probably just destroyed your name. He's actually in Isle of Man, British Isles. And he said, hey, Todd, thanks for providing us listeners with an entertaining and informative podcast. Yours was one of the first podcasts I started listening to often when I first discovered the media. It remains one of my favorites. Merry Christmas to your family, and I wish you a prosperous New Year. Good luck at CES. Thanks on that. I definitely appreciate it. I got an email wish from Douglas out of Baltimore. Thank you for that. Think that's it. Oh, Luke says, aloha. Aloha. That's aloha, hello, aloha. Thanks for the insight on your last show in response to my email. Thanks for being you. That's what I love about your show. Happy Christmas and to you and your family. Thanks, Luke. Definitely appreciate that. Got an email from Robert. He says, Todd, I've been a listener of the show for years and excited about the video show. The video shows I've been watching seem to be dark to me. I'm not sure if it's my play or not, but I'd like to mention that I would like to see what I would like to see in the video setup. I think if you had a big screen TV directly behind you and you set in front of it to do the show, the background for your video podcast would have endless possibilities. The big screen TV would fill the screen with you sitting in front. You could easily adjust your camera for this. You could have a slideshow going, for example, in the background of Pixel Hawaii or anything you wanted. I can picture you now sitting there doing the news with the waves hitting the beach in the background. That would be great. The possibilities are endless. I think the light from the TV would also make your video podcast picture brighter. Also, if the TV was tied into your computer, you could easily switch from the slideshow and perhaps start clips in relation to a story you may be talking about or show a picture. Also, all you would have to do is easily roll your chair to one side, kind of like in any office chair with wheels, and you could easily watch the clip. When the clip was finished, you could easily roll back in front of the screen and continue on to do this kind of thing. They do this kind of thing all the time. When the clip was finished, usually you can easily roll back in front of the screen and continue on. Then pull down the screen and play a clip, just zoom in, so forth. This is what will really set your set apart from others, and that I would find entertaining to watch while listening to the podcast news. I have recorded a picture of a big screen TV with just an ordinary video camera, and the quality turns out great. I'm sure equipment would be even greater. Just try it sometime. You also said, who would want to just watch you talk to me? This would take you up a level in my book. Robert out of Tennessee. I was worried about the audio on the last, and again, Robert, thank you for that. Those of you that downloaded the last show, you may have heard some background noise. we lost the recording on the last show. First time ever. Well, the first time in probably 400 shows. And I had to recover the audio from the TriCaster. And it wasn't what I liked about it. But Michael said, hey, I love the audio. The audio on the last show sounded great. Don't touch a thing. And I was like, I hated it. And Michael loved it. So what do you guys think of the audio on the last show? I don't know. I just didn't care for it. But he said it sounded like that NPR sound. And I'm going to have to do some tweaking, I think, Michael, on the recording set to see if we can get that NPR sound. Anyway, I've gone long enough here. It's been a week. I missed you guys. I really did. I felt, my wife said on Christmas Eve, are you going to do a show? I said, are you kidding? I'm enjoying just sitting here and relaxing too much. I really did enjoy the downtime. It was terrific to really kind of sit out for one show and just really enjoy the holidays and spend time with the one child that's here and my wife and visit family. And it was good. It really, really was. And just do nothing. Whatever we wanted to do, we just did nothing. And I hope everyone else had an enjoyable holiday as well. I hope that you had a good Christmas. And, of course, I want to hope everyone's going to have a prosperous new year as well. But I will be here for an early show. If everything goes right, I'll be here for an early show on a New Year's Eve. I'll get that punched out. Probably everyone will be partying when I record this because I'm always 5 hours behind the rest of you in the mainland. And but anyway, it'll be what it is. But plan on downloading the show after you're nursing your hangovers on the 1st. There will be a show waiting for you. So when you're just kind of lounging, you can listen. So everyone take care, and we'll see you on Thursday night for the recording. Of course, those of you that get in the show, it'll be ready to be downloaded on Friday. Make sure you get it. And then after that, we'll be off to CES. So until next time, everyone take care. geeknews@gmail.com, voicemail hotline +1 619 342 7365. Take care and aloha.